Good morning, afternoon, or evening, YouTube friends. This is Sue of Pursue the Dream, and I'm still sitting here in Maryland, and it looks like I'll be here a couple more months. But while I'm formulating my summer plans, I thought I would talk a little bit about places that aren't what they seem. When you're an RV traveler or a traveler of any kind, usually you start out with some sort of agenda, and maybe you pick up ideas of places along the way by talking to other people. And that is how I ended up at the RV Hall of Fame in Elkhart, Indiana. I had no real plans to go there, but I talked to somebody in a campground and they said, oh, it's a hoot, and if you have an RV, of course you should go to the RV Hall of Fame. So I did, and I'm going to show you a little bit about it, but this is actually a video that I made, but I never put out. When I went there, I intended to do a little video on the RV Hall of Fame, but I never did, because I was very disappointed in the RV Hall of Fame, and I'm going to tell you why that is in a little bit. And there are many, almost every RV YouTuber has a RV Hall of Fame. Some of them are really good, some of them not as well done. And personally, no matter what you might think of Nomadic Fanatic, he sort of did the RV Hall of Fame the way I had intended. He went into every one, he showed it to you, he read the little plaques, and I have hour of footage, but I decided not to do it. Here's why I never did it. All right, we're getting ready to go in. Wow. Look at all the RVs. Wonder if we'll see a faith. The impression you get when you watch YouTubers or anybody talks about the RV Hall of Fame is they talk about the RVs, of course. All the really cool old RVs. And they are very old and cool, and some of them are unique, and some of them are huge and glorious, and some of them are old and redone. They also have new ones that have been, they're retro, they're modern, but they have a retro look, but they're much fancier than anything that was real back in the day. But here's the part of the RV Hall of Fame I found out from speaking to one of the guides. After going through all the RVs and not seeing a single Dodge, I was just curious, so I asked the man, how do they decide what RVs will be in the Hall of Fame? And he kind of looked at me weird, and then he said, oh, all of those have been donated. So it just depends upon who donates and the quality of the RV when we get it. The manufactured home RV Hall of Fame has nothing to do with any of these vehicles. The actual Hall of Fame is on the second floor. And it is about honoring the men, mostly men, who were the forefront salesmen, manufacturers, people who served on boards, and then there's this whole manufacturing home. That's the MH aspect of it. So they've now been included. So it's about the big dogs in the industry. Did you guys know that? Am I the only one who just assumed it was about the RVs and that somehow these were the primo RVs and they were inducted into this? No, this is just the museum part. So it's a salute to the people who have taken all your money and want to sell you more. So now you know the rest of that story, but I am going to walk you through this Winnebago.
This is the Winnebago. Oh, I like this. Yeah, I saw a lot of these in Boulder and in Colorado. They were running. Putt, 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 but they were running. Nice, I like the design. Oh, it's got the pin in it. God awful orange. That berry. Faith had orange shag in it when I got her.
Iowa is known for its corn and apparently pigs. Well, the corn is absolutely delicious. These came right from the field.
Hey, look at that. I am so excited. I don't know how long it's supposed to cook. I boiled the water, threw them in. I think it's about 10 minutes. But anyway, they should look like this, bright yellow when they're done. And I just took a bite out of this one. It's hot, but it's delicious, of course. And you don't have to put butter and salt, but of course I'm going to put butter and salt. And enjoy.
As for the pigs, you never see one. They're all indoors. We don't want to talk about that.
I'm at a Fort Dodge. I'm going to go in the museum, but my batteries are low. Well, they're at 12 volts, and the inverter kicked off, so I have to get some power while I'm visiting. So I'm just set it up. I'll go visit. People ask me, are you afraid people will steal your solar panels? Well, generally speaking, this is not, I'm sort of way out of town. There's a hospital there. It doesn't look like a high crime area to me, so right now, no, I'm not worried. In a campground, I never worry about people stealing things. It probably happens, but I just don't look like I'm wealthy. And hopefully this will power up while
I'd already been to Fort Garrison, Fort Union, Fort Sumner, Fort Robinson, and Fort Laramie. So Fort Dodge was...
I'm trying to get my history straight. It looks like all of this area was explored by Lewis and Clark, I guess, when he traveled up the Missouri River. That was 1805. So this area was part of the Louisiana Purchase. That's why Lewis and Clark came out to see what the land looked like after they bought it. And then in 1850, the military with dragoons. Now, I'd never heard this term, but dragoons were mounted infantry, and they were used to this terrain, and they just roamed the land, I guess. Their goal was to identify future sites for military posts. It says when they came upon Lizard Creek, which runs through town, I think, they noted how it would suit their needs along the Des Moines River. So this was the site they said would make a good fort. But the government actually built the fort about 3 miles away in what is now the downtown area and moved the fort out here, and was here for 3 years before it was abandoned by the government. There you go. I'm going to go inside. This is one of the original buildings. There's a few of them. Next door is a church. This is an actual log home. Everybody had an organ. I remember my grandparents had an organ in their house. They didn't have electricity or plumbing, but they had an organ. Here's the inside of the log chapel. How sweet. But I want you to know, you can smell coal. Right in the walls. I'm sure they did some heating with coal. That's what I smell, though. It's a smell of coal burning. Nobody's running around, so this is the land office. So I'm assuming they're talking about after the military left and the settlers started moving in to town. They would have come to register their plats. It does say that the fixtures are original, not from this area in Clare, Iowa. They came from an old store there. Children. Okay, now this is an original building. This is cool. Newspaper office around 1871. So this is the first stockaded fort that we've run into going east. Right inside the door is a sutler store. This fort, they were paid $7 a month. Too bad they didn't have internet. They could have moved to Fort Laramie and got almost twice as much. Probably didn't see as much action. Look, it's very small. I think they had 9 officers and maybe, I'll have to go look, as usual, 50 or 60 people stationed here. I would assume these were various barracks of officers or whatever. But now they're dedicated to certain things. So she was talking about the Hitler stuff. I am assuming it's in here. Huh? That little boy keeps closing all the doors. Oh, just close the door. It's quite warm in here. So here's what she's talking about. These apparently were photos taken from concentration camp at Orndorff, Germany. So it would have been a work camp. Probably more than a... Ugh. Wow. When they went in to rescue them. These are pictures some of the soldiers took. That's amazing. can see them. Probably don't want to. It's more graphic. Looks like a crematorium. I get hit here looking at these pictures. Some unusual thing. I haven't been to too many World War II museums, I have to admit. But I find this kind of interesting. Handmade address book by Atwell while a prisoner, it says. Atwell participated in the Bataan Death March and then held prisoner in Japan until August of 1945. Here's his fellow prisoners. Oh, the Aussies had cool hats. The Aussies have a lot of cool stuff. 39 pounds. Anti-tank gun. Huh. The German trench rifle from World War I. So you can be down there and shoot. Isn't that interesting?
I was encouraged by the employees to stop in and see the Cardiff Giant.
Oh, and here's the funniest part. This isn't even the original stone one. It says it changed hands several times, toured the country, always got crowds, and it was here a little bit, but it says he rests today in the Farmers Museum at Cooperstown, New York. But Fort Dodge thought since it started here, they should have their own. So they went and got another piece of gypsum from the same quarry, commissioned Cliff Carson to sculpt a giant. He started work on October 6, 1969, here at the museum. It says, the first blow of his chisel, a large chunk of gypsum popped off, revealing a giant big toe. Startled, Carson jumped back. Cautiously, he struck another blow, only to reveal an entire foot. It seems that a real giant has been discovered encased in a protective layer of gypsum. So it says the one in New York is a fake. This is the real one. They found it. I got a little bit of the scoop from one of the employees. I asked her why this particular fort was stockaded, and she said, well, it wasn't. They just put the stockade around it when they rebuilt it here 50-some years ago. I guess they wanted it to look like what they thought a fort should look like. And it does. But it has nothing to do with the original fort. It wasn't even here. It was a mile and a half away on the river.
So at the very end of the day, after spending the whole afternoon there, I found out almost everything about this place is fabricated. And that's why I didn't do a video on this town either. There's absolutely nothing in this town that's worth stopping for. Just drive right on through. Walmart doesn't even have Wi-Fi. Keep going.